I would like to welcome you to tonight's virtual athletic awards ceremony. I'm honored to take this opportunity to recognize our student athletes for their accomplishments this year. I want to first start by talking to our seniors. I know the ones that were in baseball and track didn't get to finish their year, and I just want you to know, with talking with all the coaches, our hearts go out to you guys. It was very difficult, but I would also like to say how proud we are of how you handled it. You know, numerous times I would talk with some of you guys, and just the stuff that you said was just inspirational, and I'm just proud of you and how you handled that. And I know a lot of you guys have questions going into next year. I will let you know as soon as I hear from the NMAA. I know they're meeting constantly on it, so as soon as we hear, we'll let you know. And we'll just keep praying that we're allowed to do it. So I want to continue with thanking our coaches, all the people behind me, all of our coaches behind us. I'm just very appreciative of all their hard work and their mentoring to our student athletes. They did a great job. I know it's they sacrificed from their family to pour into your kids, so thank you guys very much for all that you do. Parents, also want to thank you guys, and I said this in the junior high awards banquet, that you guys are the best parents that we can ask for. We always feel supported. We appreciate you guys. Anytime we need something, whether it's snacks or a dinner, you guys are there, always there to help us out, so we really appreciate you. And moving on to our student athletes, again, I'm gonna let the coaches do all the bragging, so we'll go ahead and get started with that. And I'll introduce Perry Tolles, and he'll start with cross country.
Okay, I guess it's fitting that cross country goes first, because cross country starts in just 2.5 months, so get ready, athletes. I've really missed you, and I cannot wait for sports to begin again. We had a great team of athletes. We also had a great team of parents that supported our team this year. And undoubtedly, the times will show that we have the fastest runners in school history up at the state championship. And this year, we were able to qualify every athlete to go to the state championships in cross country. We're going to announce the letter awards. Our first 2 awardees are 8th graders, and really is my pride and honor to give an 8th grader their very first varsity letter. And it goes to Chloe Garnan and Elizabeth Berry. They get a letter, pen, and bar. Returnees are Kaylee Smith, she gets a bar. Hannah Lilly, a bar. Sarah Lilly, a bar. Taylor Higgins, a bar. Kessia Smalley is our lone graduating senior, and she gets a bar. And Jace Worley gets a bar. I have 2 awards to announce, and you've heard this from many coaches before, that we could give the Warrior Award to just about anybody on the team. I wish that I had more yahoos on the team, but I don't. I have all great, godly, young men and women who are not only talented, but they are Christ-like in all that they do. But since I only have 1 award, I'm gonna set this up. I want to talk about this young man. You probably already know who it is, since they only have 1 young man on the team this past year. But he worked his tail off. We had the largest district meet in the history of NMMA cross country. Not only do they combine Class A and Class 2A, but they combined 2 districts into a super district of 13 schools. The district meet was crazy large, and there was no way to know exactly where you stood until about 30 minutes after the results were tabulated. But Jace Worley, not knowing where he was on the course, decided to try to pass 1 more athlete. He beat him by less than 1/10 of a second. About 30 minutes later, we found out that Jace earned that last spot going to the state championships. So, a warrior, someone who gives it their all, even when they know or when they don't know, it doesn't count. That was Jace. As I said, Jace is godly. He's also the politest young man I've ever known. He'll yes sir me to death almost any day, and I love it. I love coaching him. Anyway, the Cross Country Warrior Award goes to Jace Worley.
Awesome. Good.
My next award is the Cross Country MVP, Most Valuable Player. Truly, this will go to a young lady who led the Lady Warriors to their finest finish ever at the state championships. Our team time, total team time, was the fastest team time that we've put in 10 years up at the state championship. She is remarkable. She is pushed by her twin sister. But when you look at the results, this young lady not only led the Lady Warriors at the district championship, but also led the Lady Warriors up to the state championship. And it's my pleasure to give the MVP award to Hannah Lilly. Good job. And next I'd like to introduce our varsity volleyball coach, Miss Carrie Pirtle.
Who could do nothing without Stephanie Stevens? We're going to go ahead and start off by announcing all of our players and whether they receive a pin and a bar. We'll start off with our JV. We had Kylie Brudike, who gets a JV pin, Delaney Fleming, who gets a JV pin, Avery Pirtle, JV pin, Lauren Hunter, a bar, Kira Bollock, bar, Rachel Ellis, bar, Courtney Gores, bar, and Kaylee Reeves, a bar. For our varsity, Avery Pirtle receives a pin and a bar, MJ Stevens, a bar, Hannah Lilly, pin and a bar, Sarah Lilly, pin and bar, Amelia Tenorio, letter, pin and a bar, Michaela Fox, a bar, Hannah Martin, bar, Kiana Conway, a bar, Kaylee Stevens, a bar, Sierra Fresquez, a bar, Kaylee Stevens is on there twice, but she only gets one bar, and Jessica Suttereth, a pin and a bar. Good job. Yeah. Thank you. I gotta look to my notes because I wrote a lot. Our season had several ups and downs this year, but overall, we have what I feel was a successful season. We didn't get to go exactly where we wanted to with it, but as we get to our awards, I will say that it takes more than 5 people to make a team, especially for volleyball, you have to have 6. And although we only have 5 awards to hand out tonight, to just a few people, I want you all of you girls to know that our team wouldn't be complete without each of you. You each are valuable, you each play a valuable role as a Gateway Warrior volleyball player. We'll start off with our JV awards. Our most improved award this year goes to Delaney Fleming. She worked hard on serving and hitting, and once her timing clicks, she's really gonna be a force to reckon with at the net. Our offensive player of the year gained our JV team a lot of points off of her serve. Her hitting ability is really coming along, and the more she gains confidence in that, she's gonna take that ability really far. And that award goes to Avery Pirtle.
Good job.
For our defense, do you want me to wait?
No, go ahead.
Good.
Sorry.
For defense player of the year, I think all the nasty Nancy's we ran in practice really helped this girl out in her lateral movement on the court because her footwork improved a lot this year and she covered the court well. She's not afraid to get on the ground and go after a ball. So our defensive award goes to Rachel Ellis. Our MVP this year could have filled a lot of positions for us. She decided to use this year to really focus and build on what she could use in future positions. So she focused on defense. She's very vocal, she's a leader, and she has great communication with her teammates. I hope that she will continue to use those attributes to help her team next year. And that MVP award goes to Kira Bollock. Our last award for JV is our Warrior Award. This young lady was always encouraging to those around her. She always had a smile on her face. No, it didn't matter if we were running because somebody had jewelry on, didn't matter if we were running because they left stuff on the bus, didn't matter. She always had a smile on her face, and she was willing to try anything we asked her to do. She brought light and happiness every time she stepped out onto the court. So Kylie Breedike is our warrior for JV this year. On to our varsity. We'll start off with our most improved. When we were looking at who was going to be on varsity and who was going to be on JV this year, we really didn't know what position this girl was going to play. She could have filled many roles. She's a great athlete, which doesn't always necessarily translate to a great player, but for her, she ended up working really hard to develop a skill set, more than one, as it actually turned out, that our team needed. She really surprised us with her blocking ability, considering she's rather short. She actually led our team with number 2 in blocks. And she's working already through the off season to perfect her setting skills. So our most improved this year goes to Sarah Lilly. For our offensive player of the year, this young lady made our all-district team. She led our team in multiple stat categories. She was number 1 in kill percentage with a 25.5% kill rate, which means 1 out of 4 balls she got us a point off of. She was number 2 in total kills with 101 kills for the season. She led our team in aces with 44. She was our 3rd leading blocker, and she also led our team in digs with 263 digs for the year. She is talented all around the court and has already been working through this off season, and I know is continuing on to improve her attacking. So our offensive player of the year goes to MJ Stevens. Our defensive player of the year was an all-district honorable mention. She was number 2 in digs for our team with 256. She's so quick in the back row, and she does a great job of reading hitters to the point of you didn't see her on the ground much, which is odd for a libero. For someone who spent so much time in the back row, she ended up racking up 4 blocks for our team this year. Elida didn't know how to handle her, and I know she's working hard in the offseason to keep improving her entire game. But our defensive player of the year goes to Hannah Lilly. Our Warrior Award goes to a young lady who's quiet, but she carries a strength within her that draws others to her. She always has a positive attitude. She's a good sport, she's respectful, and she just is a great embodiment of what I feel like a Gateway Warrior is. That young lady is Amelia Tenorio. And our last award tonight goes to our MVP. And every year, I think I always say that the MVP is someone you would want to pick to step out on the court with you. This is someone who has skill, yes, but someone you can also trust to work just as hard as you, to be just as disappointed if you lose, and just as excited when you win. This young lady also made the all-district team. She was number 2 in kills, considering her position. That's odd. She had 140 kills this year. She's number 2 on our team in aces with 38. She's number 3 in our digging statistics with 144 digs on the year. And she leads our team in assists with 149. Even when she was sitting on the bench, which wasn't very often, she was leading her team. She's leaving big shoes behind for the next leader to fill. Our MVP this year goes to Kaylee Stevens. Our season didn't end like we wanted it to, but I hope, girls, that you remember the highs, beating Tatum, and learn from the lows, losing to Dora. Carry a fire and a drive within you through the rest of the off season and into volleyball season, asking yourself each day, what did I do today that got me closer to my goal? And what will I do tomorrow to go further? Thank you. Sean, you're up next.
All right, thank you. Good job, John. All right, let's go further. All right, well, First of all, we had a season to remember. To be honest with you, even this whole break we've had, give me a lot of time to reflect, even on the season that we did have. I would have probably earlier said, man, this is the hardest season we've ever had. But looking back, it was also a very good season for us because we had a lot of great kids. We didn't have a lot of great athletes. We didn't have a lot of experience, but we had a lot of great kids. And great kids, when you look back, the memories of what I'm going to remember this year are the important things. The kids that showed up, how they worked hard, they played for each other. I really feel like they gave it their best. We just didn't always come out with a W. And for these kids to learn, a coach once told me, you can learn from a victory or defeat. It's always funner or better to learn from a victory, but sometimes you have to learn from defeat. And really, that's kind of what we had to do this year. So I'm going to read off all these. We had a bunch of kids come out, which was awesome. Didn't have enough for a junior high football team. I'm hoping that changes this next year. So you junior high guys, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, we'd love to have you all out. We are moving to 6-man, so it doesn't take that many kids. If you guys will let me know as we get started this next school year, if you're interested in junior high football, we would love to get you out there and teach you the game. So I'm going to start off with those kids. I'll just read their names and receive what they get. Theophopoulos Arlette, he receives a pin and a bar. Reese Helter Skelter Melton, he receives a bar. We got Elijah Never On Time Perry, he receives a bar. Mark Solis, literally the team clown, and he was a spark for us on the bench this year. Just he kept us all laughing in practice and in the games. He receives a letter pin and a bar. Hayden Wigley, a bar. Nick Albrecht, pin and a bar. Caleb Bogle, a bar. Hurley Breedike, a bar. Jeremiah Dickman, otherwise known as Ernie, and he receives a letter pin and a bar. Chance Estes, a bar. Luke Tipton, a bar. Titus Arlette, a bar. Chase Gores, a bar. Travis P-Town Pirtle, he receives a bar. Rylan Ruiz receives a letter pin and a bar. Aiden Shaw receives a bar. Jeremiah Caps, or Bert as he's known on the team, receives a bar. Joel Perry, a pin and a bar. Brandon Reynolds, a bar. And Jacob Swanson receives a bar. So we're going to start out. I'm going to start off with the lineman of the year. This kid did not play at Gateway last year. He moved in from out of state and got to come to our school. Just a great kid, great attitude, hard worker. Really is kind of what you look for in a lineman, because he just shows up. He works hard. He's not scared to get dirty. He's not scared to hurt a little bit. Plays with an intensity, and always was wanting to know what he could do a little better. And so this year, the lineman of the year, or our most improved lineman of the year, goes to Jeremiah Dickman. So good job, Maya. Mick, let me see. Do you know? It's Justin. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to do the defensive player of the year, and this award goes to an individual that had a great nose for the ball, great player. Unfortunately, his season got cut short with an injury, but the games that he did play in, I think led our team in tackles, was always willing to go in there and put a helmet on somebody, and this award goes to Jacob Schwan. So, Mick will do the offensive player of the year award.
Okay, I'm doing offensive player of the year, and when you start off the beginning of the season and you graduated the year before, 95% of your team that scored the year before, there's a lot of question marks, and like Sean said, we had a lot of young kids that have athletic ability but haven't played in certain positions. So this young man, he came up, we were looking for a quarterback, didn't know what we were gonna have, and Hurley really stepped up into that role. Learned the offense quickly, started helping some of the kids that didn't know what they were doing or were confused about things. And really every game he got better and better until he got hurt. So this year's Offensive Player of the Year is Hurley Breedike.
Okay, then I will also do the Warrior Award, and this goes to an individual that I've enjoyed coaching over the years. You know, when he started playing football, you know, he had worked so hard over the years, and I don't think probably one of the most improved kids that I've seen. And as he started, you know, he just had great heart. You know, always showing up, always there at practice, willing to work hard, push other kids. Just a joy to coach, and he exceeded our expectations. You know, got to play in the team the year before as we went to the state championship. This year again, we didn't get to go as far as we wanted, but he got to experience all that, and just a blessing to coach. And this goes to Brandon Reynolds.
Awesome. And last but not least is our MVP. This kid worked extremely hard, was a senior, so I just appreciated his leadership on the field. He really played hard, played through a lot of tough situations. One, I can remember we were playing Mesilla Valley. They had a guy like 6'5", about 365, and that's not an exaggeration. Jeremiah Dickman calls him a polar bear. So, and Caps had to go against this guy the entire game. And I literally, after that game was over, I told Jeremiah, we're gonna have to throw those pants away, because he looked like he had been ground into the mud for about 3 straight hours. But he got up, played hard. He did a phenomenal job making all the line calls. We moved him around a couple different positions, offensive and defensive line. Played really hard, made a lot of tackles, and really honestly was just kind of the heart of our team, especially when a couple of our kids went down with injuries. Had a lot of injuries this year, and fought through all that. So this year's MVP goes to Jeremiah Caps. So great job, Jeremiah. And last but not least, I just want to mention our coaches, Coach Stevens, Coach Reeves. We had a lot of help out there, and again, they're pouring into your kids. It's not always about the W's. I loved my son getting to be on this team. As a freshman, he got a lot of good experience, got a lot of good reps, and learned what it means to have an opportunity to compete. Never, ever probably have we all realized the value of just the opportunity to compete like we know now, because we haven't had that opportunity for baseball. And boy, we would have had a heck of a baseball team. And so that's kind of the season that never was. And so I just want to say this, guys, every time we step on the field, everything we do, everything we put our hand to, we do it as unto the Lord, because it may literally be our last opportunity. But I love you guys. To all you seniors, thank you for competing, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to coach you all these years. God bless you guys. And I'm going to welcome up Miss Holly Tipton and Ray Frescas for basketball.
Hello. So we're here for basketball. Before I start giving off JV Pitt, all that information, I just want to say thank you to so many people who help us make this happen. During the year, we had Kathy Lilly. I didn't write this down, so who knows how scattered this will be. We had Kathy Lilly, who always made sure we had meals. She was an awesome mom. And then all the other moms that helped her out. Thank you guys so much. My husband, I want to thank my husband. He'll be watching this, so I want to thank him, and my mother-in-law, who always does extra stuff for the basketball teams and just loves on them, and I just appreciate them always supporting me and getting to do this, honestly. And then Ray, you know, I may not let go of him. He's pretty awesome, and he's just a great JV coach, just awesome JV coach, and then a great assistant. So thank you, Ray. So here are the JV players: Kylie Breedike, JV Pin, Delaney Fleming, JV Pin, Abby Curtis, JV Pin. Varsity: Avery Pirtle, bar, Kaylee Smith, bar. MJ Stevens, bar. Lauren Hunter, bar. Hannah Lilly, bar. Sarah Lilly, bar. Amelia Tenario, pin and bar. Kira Balick, bar. Rachel Ellis, bar. Michaela Fox, bar. Taylor Higgins, bar. Kaylee Reeves, bar. Sierra Frescas, bar. Kaylee Stevens, bar. So that's our team. There were 18 of them total. We started with that many, ended with that many. That was a goal of mine. And we're gonna talk about the JV team first.
I can do that. And I kind of want to talk to all the girls in general at first too, JV and varsity. We looked at you as one team, so you know the varsity wouldn't have the success if all you JV girls didn't help at practice and be there at practice and give your all at practice. So I want to congratulate all the girls that were part of this year's basketball team of making history. Making history is kind of what we took on there at the end, because we did that this year with Minnie First, beating Tatum, which we'll probably say a few more times, hosting the district tournament championship game, and of course making state. So you know the JV girls had just as much part of that, and many of you were splitters anyways, but all had a part of that as well. And to just say that just shows what hard work will do. So I hope through these hard times that you find time to pick up a basketball and not just a volleyball. And put in some work whenever you can. It does make a difference, in especially dribbling, shooting, whatever you can find time to do with your brother, sister, or whoever can help you, or even by yourself out in the driveway or wherever you can do that. And I would like to thank Gateway, especially Mr. Rapp, Justin, Stephanie, Holly, and of course all you parents for allowing me the opportunity to coach these girls, and of course my beautiful wife for everything she does and putting up with me through the whole year, and I know that's not easy, so
Amen.
thank you. Yes. And I just can't express how proud I am of each and every one of you for accomplishing everything you did accomplish this year. So then to awards, I will start with the Warrior Award. The Warrior Award goes to a lady that I considered for many of the other awards, Most Improved and Offensive Player. However, we decided to give this lady the Warrior Award because, you know, all she did every day would just show up, hustle at every single practice. She showed up to practice and games with a great attitude and was a great teammate to everyone, and that's Amelia Tenario. Sorry. The offense.
Smile. She always did that with a smile.
Always with the smile, yep. The Offensive Player of the Year goes to the player that did what was asked of her for the entire year. She got tough under the basket and really fought for rebounds. She got the rebounds. She didn't look to pass it out. She looked to score with those rebounds, which in turn was his points for our team. That Offensive Player of the Year is Avery Pirtle. The Defensive Player of the Year was both a force on defense. She blocked shots, made other opponents think twice about shooting over her. This player gave 100% whether in games or at practice. She was one that always wanted in the game no matter what the situation was. And the Defensive Player of the Year goes to Kaylee Smith. The Most Improved Award goes to a Lady Warrior that worked hard at improving her game all summer long. She went to everything we had to offer this past summer, which was quite a bit, was it not? Mm-hmm. And was always eager to learn. The Most Improved goes to Kaylee Reeves. And at last but not least, the MVP Award. This Lady Warrior improved so much from last year, and she just took over several games. Even if it was only for one quarter that she played, she made her presence felt out on the court, and as a splitter, she also gave the varsity team a big boost defensively. She always gave 100% on both sides of the ball. And the MVP is Sarah Lilly.
Okay, so the JV had such a great year. They went to a little tournament at Lake Arthur while we were at Hondo. The varsity was at Hondo, and they went there. They played Dexter JV and Artesia JV toe to toe. And that was without Sarah, actually, our MVP, because she was with us. And they just, every game, and if you look at the stat sheets, it's the last quarter, they were just busy. Like, we had Amelia, Avery, Lauren, Akira, earning free throws, just working their tails off. That's what it takes. And thank you, Carrie, for coaching them. Carrie did a great job of coaching them since we were all split up. I never will forget the JV game against Tatum, and it seems funny to remember that, but Sarah made 14 points in one quarter. And those little girls from Tatum were like, "Where'd the ball go?" And then they looked down there and Sarah had it in the basket. I mean, over and over. And it was just fun to watch. That means, all that said, I'm so excited for future Lady Warrior basketball. You guys put in so much work. So varsity, your record was 21-5. Now last year, we were barely 50-50. We were a little bit less than 50-50. And then previous years before that, it was about a flip of the 5-21. Yeah, kind of. And not quite sometimes, but close. So we won a lot more games. And we went on a 14-game winning streak. We beat Tatum, like he said. You hear about Tatum again? We beat Tatum for the first time in school history. We beat them, out of 4 times, we beat them twice. We earned a seed at our district, the top seed in our district by beating Tatum by 13 points in Dora. And they beat us by 1 and 1, I think that was
2.
1 and 2, okay. Not that we're keeping track. But we beat them by 13 points that night, and I have to say, the girls just did awesome. They were feeling, nobody was sick. We just played the game of their lives. I mean, every quarter, I had a person from the stands that didn't even, he's actually AD from Dora, come and tell me, my girls got better every quarter. Like, they played an awesome game. We went to state for the first time in school history. We earned a 6th seed at state tournament bracket. To say the least, it was a season for the record books.
In the 4 losses, out of the 5, 4 of those losses, a total of 6 points.
6 points, yeah.
We
We were always
difference in
competitive.
4 games.
Just real competitive. There was only one game that we weren't competitive in against Mescalero, who were the state champions.
2A state champs.
2A state champs. I was proud of all 18 of my girls and our girls, whatever the girls. They play your girls. They just came with the right attitude. And I want to remind the girls of what our beginning looked like. I kind of had prayed about it, thought about it, and I put 2 girls on varsity to start. And I wasn't very popular. I said it would be the seniors, because I knew the seniors would expect, because you'll hear about those seniors, they would expect everybody to work, they would work, and then they were hoping everybody else would work to that level. They would never compromise, they would just work. So I put those 2 up there, and then I said everybody else needs to fight for spots. And they didn't fight amongst themselves, which you kind of worry about when you do that. They fought as a team to make each other better. It was iron sharpens iron at every turn. We had the best bench on the planet. And not only were we deep, because we were deeper than anybody else in the district, but we were also the funnest bench. We got in trouble for cheering too much on the bench by fussy referees, okay? And we got in the way of a referee one time and said, we're gonna give your girls a technical if they don't quit cheer. I mean, they were getting out of their seats and running down and giving everybody 5s. And we had the best bench, just the funnest bench ever. You look down the bench, everybody wanted to get in. That was hard on a coach. Everybody's like, come on, put me in. So I just want to say, it took 18. It took everybody to get there. And I told the girls it was gonna take everybody to get there from the beginning. And thank you, parents, thank you, girls, for just working and having the right attitude. And if you didn't have the right attitude at first, working around to that attitude. I just really think that God worked in you girls through the season, and I just thought that was just a blessing to coach y'all. So some words that describe the girls this year: determination, focus, grit, love for the game, love for each other. It's really an important little thing to put into your team, and that's because parents and all of us have worked hard to pour into these girls. And then team players. So, after all that, I'm just so proud of you girls. You guys did awesome. Don't settle, and this is one of the main reasons I only had 2 people on varsity start. I don't want you guys to settle. Don't compromise. You work, and that means in the off season. That means now when you can't come work with me, but you can work on your own. I know I have a couple girls doing that. I need more of you guys. Get a ball, find an air pump, go dribble, dribble, dribble. Go shoot on a basket. Okay. I'm gonna start with our MVP. She was our little general out there. Not bossy, always led by example. That's just the way she is. I would have maybe liked it if she was more vocal at times, but that was the way God made her, and she led awesome. She put us on her back lots of times and just got busy. You know, people who take pictures, my mother-in-law takes pictures, and she said, this girl was always in the pictures. Like, you know, she was always in the picture. She was digging the ball here, whatever. She led by example, and she had a love of the game and her teammates, and it was so evident. She averaged 9 points a game and ran our offense. She was our point guard. She had the most steals per game at 3 per game, and she had the most deflections at 4 per game. And we honestly, we didn't score a lot of points. We lived and died by our defense. Our defense was awesome. And so she had, I think she had the second most high points. And our MVP is Sierra Frescas. Offensive Player of the Year, she's so much fun to coach. We've barely tapped what she can do in basketball, honestly. She had our high at 13 points a game, she averaged, and she had our high in rebounds, 5.3 rebounds per game, also our high. She has, like, she's playing here, she's a little freshman, and she can just go, 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 go. It's gonna be so much fun. And she is easy to coach, and she just has a good temperament as a player, and our Offensive Player of the Year is MJ Stevens. Defensive Player of the Year, she had great stats. I mean, I could tell you how many steals and all that, but the reality is when people had her or her twin sister on them, and she would get, if they worked so hard, there was no way one of them could cover the other team's best player the whole game. So this young lady, you know, she can kind of pat her sister on the back for part of this award, but this young lady was consistently our defensive, like, if that's their best player, then this girl gets on her. And they would get tired of this girl's athletic ability, this girl's determination, this girl's just sheer grit. I will cover you, you won't get the ball. If you do get the ball, I'm probably going to grab you from around. Sometimes we had to tell a teacher, you can't like go around them to get the ball. She was determined to get the ball. If coach said get the ball, Hannah Lilly got the ball. So she is my Defensive Player of the Year. She did awesome. Almost passed out some games trying to cover the person's best player. Most improved. This young lady got her athleticism and used it to really, really help us this year. Great team player, great attitude. She was one of our top rebounders. She took care of the ball for us. She just did what she was told to take care of the ball, secure the ball, take care of it. She needs to learn a little more confidence. She can do more than she thinks she can, but defensively she complemented it with steals and deflections, and I just think we can grow her, but she grew a lot this year and she did awesome for us. Michaela Fox is our most improved player. And Warrior, she was the second best rebounder behind her sister with 5.1 rebounds per game. She was the glue that we needed, really. We needed that leadership, those 2 starters that I was talking about, my 2 seniors. We needed that glue and those other girls to come in and do their part. And she took care of the ball, and she was a lead shot blocker for us. She did awesome. She had the most shot blocks. She had a great attitude for all 5 years. Just great attitude always. And that our Warrior is Kaylee Stevens. We had all district. We had 4 all district players: Sierra Frescas, Kaylee Stevens, Taylor Higgins, and MJ Stevens. And we had 1 honorable mention, which was Hannah Lilly. And Taylor, I just want to say, because there's only one I haven't talked about, There were great things said at the district meeting about you. They really, your shooting ability is awesome, and just keep on working, and I'm already praying for your health for next year for basketball season. All of our health, like the whole country's health. Anyway, so I think that's it. We're good. Thank you guys. I love coaching your girls. Oh, sorry. The boys basketball, I'm gonna introduce them. Coach Ledesma and Coach Buckaloo, and I love having them coach my boys.
First, I want to thank all the parents for all the hard work that y'all did for us this year, helping the year just flow through. Y'all just do so much for us, and we're so appreciative of that. And I also want to thank my assistant coaches, Cody and Coach Smotherman. There's so much help. They just bring just a tremendous amount of energy out there, and the boys really feed off of them. And it's just so much fun being able to coach with these guys. We're gonna go ahead and just read off the player list. First we got Asa Shaw receiving a pin. Braden Smith receiving a pin. Elijah Tyler receiving a pin. Theo Arlette, pin. Reese Melton, bar. Mark Solis, pin. And that was the JV team. And for the varsity, we have Elijah Perry receiving a pin and bar. Hayden Wigley, bar. Jace Worley, bar. Nick Albright, pin and bar. Hurley Breedike, bar. Luke Tipton, bar. Travis Pirtle, bar. Joel Perry, bar. Jacob Swan, bar. Wes Tipton, bar. Joe Wade, bar. And Chase Winkler, bar. It was just a great year. We had a lot of fun. Just like how Coach said about the girls program, it's one program, so everybody contributes the whole year. Everybody's important because we need the bodies for practice. And we just thank all the boys for coming out and helping us. And we're really thankful that we had some 8th graders come up, because the numbers were slim this year. And those guys really helped us a lot when we were trying to work through the whole quarter situation. And we couldn't have done it without each one of those boys out there. I'm gonna go ahead and let Cody talk about the JV team and announce their awards.
Okay, just want to first off just say, we were a whole lot smaller this year. I think in all the years I've been coaching, this is one of our smallest teams that we've had. So it was super tough getting all the JV kids who were splitting also time and to get everybody equal time and just have a fluid JV team. So it was really difficult. So I'm gonna encourage all you kids and all the parents, push your kids to come out and play. We need all the athletes to come out and just come enjoy this game with us, and they'll grow with us, and I think they'll enjoy it. So please push each other to come on out. Most improved for the JV. This kid has come a long way since we had him last year. One of his highlights last year was he probably set the school record for the most fouls in the least amount of time. And I believe it might have been 15 seconds. I'm not really sure. It was impressive. It was impressive. So we moved on past that. He's a great listener. He tries really hard. And like I said, he's just made huge leaps this year. Started scoring a lot of points for us, even getting big rebounds. This year, JV most improved, Reese Melton. Defensive player of the year. This kid has a motor that just never stops. He's just always going all he can. It's hard to get him out of the game most of the time, just because he makes such impact defensively. I really want to see him grow on his offensive side, so just keep putting work in. But you're a great weapon defensively, and that player is Elijah Perry. On the offensive side of the ball, there was a couple games where we didn't have this kid, and it really showed. He's a big, strong kid, and he's hard to match up against. He would out-rebound almost anybody on the court at all times. And I'm really looking forward to see his potential grow, and that offensive player is Hayden Wigley. The Warrior Award. This kid also has a motor that never stops. He just flies around the court at all times. You can't get him out of the game. He's just super valuable, great attitude. He'll do anything you ask him to do, anytime. He'll just go for it. And the Warrior Award this year is Jace Worley. And the last is the MVP. We didn't have him for part of the year. And when he showed up, it truly showed that he was the MVP for our JV team. Scoring points became a lot easier. Everybody else getting involved got a lot easier. And the only problem was we didn't get to use him much on JV as much as we wanted, because he started playing varsity. But excited to see this kid grow and excited to see his future, and the MVP is Hurley Breedak. Coach?
Yeah, so this was a great year for our varsity team. I was blessed to be named head coach this year, and I was thankful because I got to see all these seniors grow up. There's a lot of memories with these guys. I can think of one of them dropping a brick on his head, some weird moaning sounds in the weight room from others, picking up other one from driver's ed, reading short stories, and just constantly telling another kid just to get his hair cut. And those are our seniors. They taught the younger kids a lot, and I mean, they set the tone with the way they worked, with their passion for the game. And I do look forward to seeing them grow up into husbands and men. And I'm just thankful that our younger kids had these guys to look up to as examples. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the awards. Our most improved player this year, I mean, he at the beginning of the season, we didn't expect him to be in the role that he was in. And due to circumstances, we had to put him in that role. And much to our delight, he stepped up and outperformed what we had anticipated. This kid has a motor that's, man, it never stops. He could, if you ask him to run through a brick wall, he'll do it, and he'll try to smile because he doesn't like showing any pain. But Travis Pirtle is our most improved player. Defensive player. This kid, he really could impact the game on the defensive side. What's coming to mind right now is that Elida game here at home, where we put him on the top of our half court trap, and he really just gave them fits, and they couldn't adjust to him. And then with the other guys behind him picking up and doing their job, it was just a great defense. But he set the tone for us on defense each and every night. And defensive player of the year is Joel Perry. Offensive player of the year, man, this guy, he's a nightmare for defenses to try to guard. He could put the ball through the hoop through pretty much anyone on the court. He's good at driving, good at shooting, and he's just, like I said, he's just a nightmare. And I'm glad I didn't have to coach against him. There was a lot of times over the course of his career that he just put on a clinic out there shooting, and like I said, times when we needed baskets, and he delivered for us. Our offensive player of the year is Joe Wade. Our Warrior Award. We were talking about this one. This one was a little tougher for us to decide because there's a lot of great character young men out there on the team. And one thing that came to my mind is that this kid had an older brother who, for some reason, liked getting technicals this year. And there was on the team, if you got a technical, you owed 50 carpets. Those are like bear crawls, but worse. And you get a second, you get 100. It doubles up, and then, well, his brother decided to get 3 of them. And so, like I said, doubling up, so there's 200 carpets due. And I told Coach, I said, man, I wonder if any of these kids are gonna step up and show, like, be a good teammate and help them out. And I told him, I said, if anyone comes up and volunteers to help, I'll allow it. And like the next day after I talked to Coach about it, Luke Tipton came up to me and asked if he could he could help his brother knock out carpets. He might have did more than Wesley. but Luke is, I mean, he's just a great teammate. He was the first one out there with the basketball every day. He's the last one to leave. Wesley had to drag him out of the gym. He just works really hard at this game. You can see his love for it. It was a pleasure coaching him and watching him just be a leader out there amongst the boys. And that's why he's the Warrior of the Year for the basketball team. And our MVP, man, we were hard on this kid a lot, and I think it paid off this year. I mean, from the beginning, he put our whole team on his back. He was a different player than he was the last 3 years that I've seen him. He scored the ball for us. He was a presence on defense, anchoring the defense. He worked. I tried to recruit some cross-country runners for you several times. I told him all the time, if you get in shape and run, I push cross-country with them. So imagine what you could do. Well, this year we got him into some pretty good shape out there on the court, and I'm glad that he bought into it and was willing to get in there and push himself between the lines, because there was a lot of games that we couldn't afford to take him out of the game. On both ends of the floor, like I said, he's a great leader, leads by example. He demands a lot out of his teammates because he works so hard. Our MVP this year is Wesley Tipton. Like I said, those guys they worked really hard for us. It was a really great season. We didn't finish how we wanted to, but I think we grew a lot as individuals and characters. The common theme or highlight of our year is beating Tatum in Tatum. In that game, Wesley scored 31 points that game.
Great job.
It was just an overall great performance by the boys, and I look forward to seeing what we could do going forward. All district for this year was Wes Tipton and Joe Wade, and we had a couple of honorable mentions as well. We had Luke Tipton and Joel Perry honorable mentions for us for this year. So turn it back over to Coach.
Okay, we have 4 more awards. We're going to do Male and Female Athlete of the Year, and Male and Female Warrior of the Year. I'll do the Athlete of the Year, and Coach Wheatley will do the Warrior of the Year. The first one I'm going to do is the Female Athlete of the Year. Okay, this goes to a young lady who was in the same class as my daughter, so I got to see 99.9% of her games, basically. Got to watch her grow up, starting athletics, which would have been 6th grade, all the way through 12th grade. And have really enjoyed the process of watching her getting better and better every year. I think the biggest thing about her is she put a lot of work in, always at the gym, putting extra work in, going to camps. It was really cool to watch her and her dad bonding together during the off season. Sometimes during the season it wasn't as much bonding, but it's kind of what you like to see, families using the athletics to bond and become closer. I think she's blessed to have a good family. But particularly this year, I think all athletes have areas that they need to get better in, and I think this year she overcame a hurdle. Because sometimes, she was so passionate during a game, she wanted to win so bad that she couldn't contain herself. And I've been there, and I've coached kids like that before. But she really learned this year when it got to that point to overcome that. So we're super proud of her for that. So Athlete of the Year goes to Sierra Fresquez. Okay, Male Athlete of the Year, another individual that I basically got to see 6th grade all the way through 12, so probably watched 100% of his games, watched him grow up. Always had a great attitude, very coachable. I think the biggest thing about him, he's such a good teammate. I know my son played with him. Just always said how he was such a great teammate, great character, you know, a leader at our school on and off the court. He's the type of kid that you can send your kid with to go to the movies or go to Whataburger or go somewhere, because he is very trustworthy. But just, and very humble. You know, this individual is a very humble person. I've never heard him brag. I've heard him talk a little trash in some games, but you know, I guess probably the one that comes to mind, I think we were playing at Cleveland High School, and I was, you know, being the athletic director, I can sit at different places, and I was underneath the basket, and we're playing Magdalena. They were the #1 ranked team, and I don't know who made the basket, but Wes turned to the guy next to him and let him know that somebody made a basket, and I laughed for about 10 minutes after that. But he was definitely a competitor. You know, he was willing to go in there and fight, like the coaches said. You know, he worked hard in the off season, put in a lot of work, but you know, he definitely put the team on his back, went out there and fought for his team, and this award goes to Wes Tipton.
Justin's head will probably never be in that picture, just so you know. All right. This is Female Warrior of the Year, and this young lady fought through a lot of adversity. I'll just say, like, the athlete and the Warrior of the Year this year, I think both of them fit the mold so good for what we want to represent. Both earned it, worked super hard. This young lady is she's just a hard worker. She doesn't do a lot of bragging. Now, she will compete, and she's got a little fire in her. I saw that all this year in basketball. We played Tatum. Sure appreciated that. That raw side that sports brings out, even in ladies. And but this lady does a good job in the hallway. She's a good friend. She's a good classmate. She's a good teammate. And to be honest, she's just a girl that I tell my girls to look up to for how they should act when they come here. And this award goes to Kaylee Stevens for Warrior of the Year. This is the Male Warrior of the Year. And like Coach Stevens said, I've seen this guy grow from like an embryo up to a man. And it wasn't an easy journey. It took a lot of years. There was a lot of, just to be honest, a lot of hardship. We worked through some injuries. We worked through some opportunities. This young man, I will say, worked as hard as anybody I've had, probably since a guy I coached named Scott Christensen, as far as showing up, consistently working hard, giving 100% of his ability. And I think when you ask anything of anybody, you can never ask any more than what they have. And I tell the kids, I'm not asking anything except everything you've got. But I think this kid probably embodies that as much as anybody I've ever coached, just giving me everything he did have. And so this year, the Male Warrior of the Year goes to Brandon Reynolds.
Okay, and that concludes our virtual award ceremony. Again, I just want to thank you parents, student athletes, for all your support this year, and the student athletes, all your hard work. And again, the coaches, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. See you next year.